Just thought I would go live and address some of the things, um, not only George Floyd, but this mess with Jehovah's Witnesses, and not just the Jehovah's Witnesses, religion in general. Um, I am anti-established religion. I don't really care if you have your personal religion, but I think established religion needs to go. And that's just my opinion. You know, take it or leave it. You know, you can agree with me or not. There are a few things that I would like to address. First off, my recent live stream for Justice for George Floyd, Purple Rhymes with Orange pointed out that she disagreed with me, that peaceful protests have been happening for decades and have not gotten anything done. And I agree with that. I do agree with that. But you have to wonder, is it really doing any good to be looting, to be punishing people who they didn't start anything, and yet they're the ones paying the price. I don't condone violence in any way, but if you absolutely need to get your violent streak out, don't take it out on the shop owners. Don't take it out on people who have nothing to do with it. Take it out on, hey, free spirit, take it out on the people that you're fucking mad with. Take it out on the cops. Take it out on Donald Trump. Those are the people you need to be taken out of. Leave the fucking shop owners alone. Thanks. That's all I'm saying. If you absolutely, if you absolutely need to be violent, take it out on the people you're mad with. Don't take it out on innocent people. Hey, Marianne. Okay, so purple rhymes with orange. I get where you're coming from. I do. Second thing, I don't know whether he wants me to use his name or not. I know Purple wouldn't mind, but if you guys seen my George Floyd clip, you'll know who I'm talking about anyway. I don't know whether this person has even seen the film that got put on YouTube. Because if he had, he would know that that cop, Derek Chauvin, murdered that man. No two ways about it. And he tells me, I don't know Derek Chauvin, but I'm calling him a murderer. Well, yes, I am, because that's exactly what shows on the film, that he murdered that guy, and he needs to be held accountable to it. I don't give a fucking shit that he's a cop, especially being a cop. He needs to be held responsible for his actions. And, you know, I may lose subscribers for this. And if you want to unsubscribe just because I am talking about this, feel free. I don't care. You know what? If you want to unsubscribe just because you get a little pissed off that I'm pissed off that this is happening, I don't want you as a subscriber anyway. So go away. Yes, free spirit, I know not all cops are bad. In fact, very few cops are bad. I saw this, can't remember where it was. I think it was somewhere in Texas. The cops actually took a knee when the protesters were protesting. Yeah, the cops took a knee. The chief of police took a knee when the protesters were protesting. And when I mean take a knee, I mean they knelt down on their knee. So, yeah. So, there are excellent cops. Bad cops, you know, they ruin it for the good cops. They're not through and through like people think they are. You know, I understand why people would think they are, because the bad cops get all the press and the good cops don't get any of the press. And I understand that. Yes, free spirit, they are not cops, they are thugs in police uniform. And yes, I understand that you're talking about the bad cops. Yes, absolutely. 100% agree with you there. But listen, I am a person. I am entitled to my own opinion. And if you don't like my opinion, go fuck yourself. Like I think it's Aaron Raw. He said, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. So, yeah. And the three that are in my chat right now, you know, I know you guys aren't gonna unsubscribe to me just because, you know, I may have an opinion that you don't agree with. Everybody's got opinions that people don't agree with. It doesn't mean you have to unsubscribe to their fucking channel. Anyway, so, but, I also think one of the reasons this is having an effect right now, whereas it hasn't had an effect in the past, is the protests are worldwide. The protests are not just in the U.S. The protests are international. It is gaining international attention. This horrible disease called racism. Thank you, Marianne. This horrible, horrible, horrible racism, it's getting worldwide attention. It's not just in the United States. It's everywhere. And you need to understand that, sorry, I messed up my video, my screen for a minute. One thing to understand with all of this is that nothing is going to change unless we change it. You know, the United States, no matter what Trump thinks, does not have a king. And, you know, thank goodness that this coronavirus thing happened in 2020. And thank goodness that this thing with George Floyd has happened in 2020, because people tend to have a very short memory. And if Donald Trump gets reelected, I swear to God, I'm moving somewhere else. I swear to God, I'll move to Canada before I will call him my president again. I don't even call him my president now. But, you know, I don't think he will get reelected, you know, because, first of all, we've got the coronavirus. He literally said, I kid you not, he literally said that the coronavirus was a Chinese hoax. That is why the United States is having all these problems with the coronavirus. Because our fucking president is a dipwad. And I usually don't get political on this channel. But, you know what? Gotta call a spade a spade. He's a fucking moron. And, so hopefully, in November, when people go to the polls, they're going to remember this shit. And they're going to say, you know what? He ain't a very good president. So, you know, we shall see. Hopefully, that'll happen. So anyway, at any rate, I had a guy, he was talking about, on the George Floyd video, on the George Floyd live stream. I had a guy who was, who said he unsubscribed because he had subscribed to my channel for logic and something about illogical. And I'm like, you know what? This is my personal opinion. What is illogical about a personal opinion? What is illogical about a personal opinion? And he comes back and he says, well, racism is a personal opinion. Is that logical? I said, and I wrote back to him, I said, a person can be racist. A person is entitled to be racist. The problem is institutional racism. Now, luckily, with the people now who've been raised with, you know, without segregation, you know, thank you, free spirit. Thank you. You are my new hero. Yes, Trump is an ass. But, I mean, seriously. Our the point is, you can be racist. And I'm not saying it's okay for a person to be racist. But if they want to be racist, that's their problem. The point is that we cannot allow institutional racism. It's kind of like that baker who refused to bake a cake for a gay wedding. Okay? That baker is totally entitled to be anti-LGBTQ+. That's his right. The problem comes when he or she, I can't remember whether it was a he or a she. The problem comes when that anti-LGBTQ+ sentiment crosses over into their line of work and they say, I will not bake a cake for a gay wedding. Me too, free. So, do you see the difference? Yes, I mean, they're welcome to be anti-LGBTQ+, even though I don't know why in the world you would be. They're not hurting anybody, blah, blah, blah. I mean, seriously, why is this even an issue? But if it spills over into the public arena, that's when it becomes an issue. That's when we need to stand up and use our voice and say, this is wrong. So, Free, were your parents hippies? I'm just asking. Sounds like they were hippies. Anyway, the point is, if you unsubscribe to my channel just because you disagree with me, you can take your fucking self and go elsewhere. The reason why this world goes round is because people have different opinions. And I can agree with purple rhymes with orange on some things and disagree on other things. It would be a very, very boring world if we all thought the same. It's not. If you want to unsubscribe to me just because you disagree with me, do it. I don't fucking care. Sure, free. So anyway, I just wanted to get on and because I wanted to address not only Purple Rhymes with Orange's comment, but I also wanted to address this other person's comment. Yeah, Marianne, it really has been. And it's only halfway done. Imagine that. It's only halfway done. So anyway, and I was just watching, before I came on to do my own live stream, I was watching John Cedar's channel and talking about Black Lives Matter from an ex-JW perspective, you know, and how the JWs think that the answer to everything is mass genocide. And good God. Genocide isn't the answer to anything, people. I mean, seriously, I don't know. Now, for Jehovah's Witnesses, I understand. They don't think for themselves. They outsource their thinking to the governing body. I've seen enough of their stuff to know that that's what they do. I mean, if you go to the John Cedars channel, Taking on Tony 6, oh my fucking God, it was a train wreck. Welcome back, Free. It was a fucking train wreck. Tony Morris, you know, old tight pants, was doing a morning worship service, you know, and he kind of creeped me out. I mean, he's always creeped me out, but I mean, he really creeped me out. Because he was like, well, look at this little girl sleeping in the forest, and, you know, and not a care in the world, and there's a leopard, right? And thank you, Marianne. She's my baby. And you know, there's a leopard sleeping above her, which was actually a panther. But anyway, you need to go see John Cedars, because he is fucking hilarious on this one. And it isn't very long. It's like 12 minutes or so. But it's just like, oh my God, Tony, what the fuck are you doing? And he was like slurring all over the place. Of course, we know he's got a alcohol problem, so you know that doesn't surprise us, does it? So anyway, he's like, oh goodness, you just have to go see it. Yeah, me too, Free. She actually didn't come back home. I actually had to go get her. But that was okay. So, yeah. What I think happened was, she went outside and something scared her, and then she ran off, and she just didn't know her way back home. So, yeah, I'm glad she's back too. Excuse me. So anyway, so yeah, with all this stuff that's going on, I mean, seriously, basically what I said, if you haven't seen the George Floyd live stream that I did, basically what I said is that officer, Derek Chauvin, should be charged with first-degree murder. And somebody disagreed with me, which is fine. We all have our opinions, you know. But then he goes a step further and says, well, you may think that I know you think that I'm racist. And I'm like, why would I think that you're racist? I don't know you. Why would I think that you're racist when I don't even know you? And then he comes back and he says Yeah, true, free. And and then he comes back and he says, "Well, you don't know Derek Chauvin anyway, so how can you say he's a murderer?" And I come back and I say, "Well, you know what? All you have to do is look at the friggin' footage. That's all you've got to do. That's all you have to do." And he comes back and he says, "Well, you know, a guy who's being pinned by the cops is going to lie just to get up." Yeah, I understand that. But Mr. Floyd passed out, and Derek Chauvin still sat on his neck for who knows how long. For 12 minutes and 46 seconds, I think it was. And you think that is not premeditated murder? Sitting on a dude for 12 minutes and 46 seconds, or however long it was, you think that was not premeditated? You are a fucking moron. Yes, free, but I don't know whether the Supreme Court of the United States has said this. I do know that some state Supreme Courts have said this. Intent can be formed in the seconds before. He had plenty of time to let Mr. Floyd up. And he didn't. And to me, that means intent. To me, that means intent. Even after he passed out. And the other cops are just as guilty. The one doing crowd control, maybe not. Because, you know, he was doing crowd control. He didn't know what Derek Chauvin was doing. He was paying attention to, you know, his job of controlling the crowd. But the other two that were with Derek Chauvin, they are just as guilty. They are just as guilty. It's time for change. And I'm just a little old YouTuber. You do have a point, Free Spirit. Free Spirit says that's why I think it's second-degree murder. He didn't plan out the death, but in the midst of it, he didn't give a fuck. But I think things are changing now, not necessarily because of the riots in American cities, but because this has gone global. People in every country that I know about are protesting George Floyd's death. Marianne, the one that was just on my lap, her name is Callie, and the black one, his name is Tuxedo, Tux for short. So anyway, yeah, so it's just, Now what do I have to say about this? I have to say, thank God I'm not a politician, because I don't know how to fix this. But we just need to kick Trump out of office, get somebody in there who can fix him second and not just hold around holding his wee-wee. So, anyway, sorry about the rant, guys. I really wasn't planning on ranting. I just wanted to come and clarify a few things, give some. You said it, Marianne. You said it. I swear to God, if he gets reelected, and when I say swear to God, I mean in the figurative sense, because I leave room for a deistic God, but definitely not the God of the Bible. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Why did Mr. Floyd have to die? Why did he have to die? As far as I can tell, he didn't. He didn't have a gun. The only thing he did was pass a counterfeit bill in I think it was a convenience store. And the cashier called the police because it was counterfeit, which is, of course, what you're supposed to do. But it doesn't mean that Mr. Floyd was a counterfeiter. Mr. Floyd could have innocently given that bill to the cashier, because unless you are trained as a cashier, more than likely you are not going to know whether or not you have a fake bill in your possession. For all we know, somebody paid him with that $20 bill, and then he, thinking it was good money, taking it on good faith, went to pay for the whatever he was paying for with the counterfeit bill, and then they call the cops. So what was this even about? I'll tell you what it was about. It was about a monster in a police uniform who was asserting his power and authority, that was power hungry, and became a cop for all the wrong reasons. That's what it's about. Free Spirit, I don't think he can do that. I don't think he can do that. I think those are beyond his powers. Of course, he thinks he's a king, but, he's a moron. Yes, Free Spirit, he died over paper. He died over paper, exactly. And we will never even know whether he knew it was counterfeit or not. I'm doing okay, Marianne. I'm just, just, I don't really, I'm still upset about Mr. Floyd's death. It shouldn't have happened. And, I think I said this in my last live stream. Derek Chauvin shouldn't have even been on the force. What the fuck is he doing on the force with 17 complaints? 17! Yes, free spirit, it does need to stop. And hopefully with other nations taking up the call, hopefully it will stop. You can't give Mr. Floyd back his life. You can't give Breonna back her life. What the fuck was that all about anyway? The cops shot her in her own house, for God's sake. No, it just needs to stop. And I don't know how to make it stop. I'm being honest with you guys. I don't know how to make it stop. But enough is enough. So, like I said, I didn't mean for this to be a rant. I wanted to come on and address some issues. And it ended up being a rant. Which is, I mean, I didn't get off topic here. I did the topic that I wanted to do, but, that's mainly why I do edited videos. I am going to be doing more live streams, but the reason I do edited videos is because I can think about what I'm going to say. I've got a script that I follow. Sometimes I add stuff, sometimes I subtract stuff, whatever. But I can actually think about it instead of just coming on here and saying whatever the fuck comes to my mind and then being like, oh my gosh, I didn't really mean to say that. It was in the heat of the moment and yada, yada, yada. But, anyway, so, I know nobody in my chat, if you are an American, I know nobody in my chat's gonna vote for Donald Trump, but, goodness gracious, we don't need another 4 years of him. America won't last. Like I said, the coronavirus and the George Floyd thing, thank goodness it happened in 2020. People have a very short memory. And you too, free spirit, blessed be. And I'm going to get off too. So you guys have a wonderful day. And check out Taking on Tony 6 on the John Cedars channel. because it is hilarious.